ma'am.
Okay. Good morning. You may begin now.
Right.
Sorry,
Good
ma'am, for the
morning.
delay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry for the delay once again.
Okay. Masha, can I begin?
Yes, please begin, sir.
Good morning, all of you, especially grade 8, grade
morning,
7 and the parents joining in. I just want you to know that this is the culmination of what they have done in MYP. It's quite obvious that the grade 8 has had 1 year in MYP, while the people coming from below, like grade 6, 7 and 8, will obviously see MYP in a much more better light. Culmination means what exactly MYP requirement is with regards to what you have learned by way of skills, by way of knowledge, by way of other aspects, that which is the ATL part of it. They have also done services action, which is distinct from community project. And I'm happy that grade 8 has been involved both in services action, school initiated projects, as well as this one. So I'm looking forward to all of you. I'd request all those who are there to keep yourself, whoever is speaking can keep himself the mic on, the others should be muted, but all the students should have their video on so that we can see that people are there. All right, so I would request all of you to put your videos on and mics muted. Anshu and a whole lot of them. If you can do that, that will be great. Right, thank you very much. And now I hand over to the students to take over.
Thank you, sir. So I'll start off by saying good morning, principals, sir, teachers, parents, my friends. I'm your finger.
And I'm Rihanna Mesquita. Today we have gathered here to showcase our community report project, which we have been working on throughout the year. There are 11 people doing community projects, but to make it organized, they have been divided into 4 groups.
The first one being the Solar Cooker group, took over by Rachit Jeriwala, Sahil Pitle, and Rihanna Mesquita. Then spreading awareness about health and hygiene, health hygiene and education, includes Riya Gopinath, Malak Gandhi, and I. Then we have the group which is helping the visually impaired. The students working in this group are Ashna Jain, Yuvraj Galyani, and Araya Ladakh. And the last one being the Bookworms Library, which is handled by Tejas Chakrabarti.
So let's start by talking about what a community project is. A community project is any community-based project that produces ideas and leads to a solution that helps the community. It may vary from reusing plastic to providing shelter to the homeless,
or giving food to the underprivileged to planting trees.
Community service can be done by a group of people that benefit others. It can be a group of people in need, maybe children, senior citizens, people with disabilities. It can also help animals.
It can also be used to improve places such as local parks and historic buildings.
Now let's start with giving a brief introduction to each of the groups, starting with the library.
The library by Tejas Chakrabarti is called the Bookworms Library, and it's a project that he designed in order to provide the best quality books for the youth in his locality. This project allowed him to get in touch with the needs of younger audiences in today's day and age, while successfully understanding the problems that many children face having to choose the right literary experience. The next group being the Solar Cooker group.
The purpose of the Solar Cooker group was to educate the people of the village and spread the acquired knowledge and information about solar cookers, as people need to be aware of cooking without electricity. The next group is a group that helps the visually impaired.
The purpose of this group was to help the visually impaired by recording and donating audiobooks to them. Now let's move on to the last group, which is about spreading awareness about health, hygiene, and education.
This project is based on spreading awareness about health, hygiene, and education. It made children and adults of the village aware of ill effects of bad health and hygiene, and some worksheets were given with alphabets to educate the students there. It made them aware of diseases and how harmful it is if the proper preventive measures are not taken.
Now let's dive into the solar cooker group by Rachit Jariwala, Sahil Patra and Rihanna Mosquita. But I would request everyone to turn off their cameras and keep their mics on mute so they are not disturbed.
Miss Masha,
Under each of the Zoom.
can someone stop screen sharing?
What's happened?
Miss,
Whatever action we said. One page, we email it to everyone. Then myself, RVP, Shailesh.
Please, it's a request to mute your phones.
Get their sign offs. What is expected, because when I was talking to Ashok for the RVP,
Okay. Good luck, guys.
start from that was
Thank you, Miss.
thank you,
I am
Miss.
Rihanna
Color
Mosquita.
coding is there, so
I am Rachit Jariwala.
you say, okay,
And I'm Sahil Pitale. And our supervisor is Miss Marjorie. Today we are going to talk about our community project. Our community project was to educate people of the village about solar cookers.
it will be really a quick call, so you have to spend our time on that.
So let's start by talking about the sustainability of the solar cooker.
Please RVPs be ready with your names of the branches.
It can reduce the unsustainable firewood and fossil fuels and not release.
Yeah, you may continue.
A community project is about aiding and giving back to the community by identifying a problem and working towards a solution. In this case, we identified the problem where they cook with wood, coal, or cow dung, and help to make them aware of the hazards like persistent asthma and breathing problems. So we took a survey and we got these results. Next slide. Okay, so let's start off by talking about our goal. So our global context is fairness and development, and we tried to incorporate this into our project as much as possible. Our goal was to make the villagers aware of the health hazard by using wood, coal for cooking. And our goal was to research and educate the villagers about the benefits of a solar cooker.
So prior experience. So as we go into prior experience, so one of the only person in our group was me who has got a prior experience to use a solar cooker. So a few time back, I had few years back, I had gone for a present for a class over there. I came to know how to use a solar cooker. It was really fun, and I came to know at what angle should a solar cooker should be kept. It should be kept at such an angle in which the sun rays reflect to the mirrors reflectors of the solar cooker, and let's get onto the physics aspect of this. So the physics aspect of this is it can solar cookers can trap the UV rays, infrared light rays, then solar energy, and with the good reflectors and bad reflectors. So good reflectors can cook the food better and quicker, but bad reflectors will take time for food to cook. Concave and convex mirrors, various angles of reflection and light spectrums. Sahil, next slide. So proposal for this project. As my friend Rihanna said that we did a survey. So when we had meetings with our supervisor, and then we also met at each other's house to bring this project up, and we talked about how can we solve the problem of the villagers. Sahil, next slide please. So these are a few of our objectives which we had used. So investigation. So we went to the village and we did surveys and came to know about the diseases the people faced. Then planning, we talked to our mentor or our supervisor, Miss Marjorie, about this, and then we planned how to give them education about solar cookers. Then we talked about took action. We went there and we gave them information about solar cookers, and then we go on to evaluation and reflection, on which we wrote about how we felt of this project. Sahil, next slide, please.
So, so this is a timeline that was followed by us while doing this community project. So before going to before this time, like this year, last year also we visited the village, which was before August, I believe. So when we did the survey, it was August, and on the 6th of August 2019, we first talked with our supervisor. We then went on to investigation after getting a go forward from our supervisor, Ms. Madhuri. So we started our investigation, which was our criteria A, on August 8, 2019. We then proceeded to planning, which was our criteria B, on August 29, 2019. Then we had our first meeting with our supervisor on the 29th September 2019. Then comes the most important aspect, which was taking action, which was criteria C, which took place on January 31st, 2020. While taking action, we went to the village and educated the people about solar cookers. Last but not the least, it comes to reflections, which was our criteria D, which took place on February 27, 2020. Solar cookers. So there are two types of solar cookers. One which is made in factories, which is this, and one which you can make at home, which is this. So as always, as known, that the one made in a factory is more reliable than the one made at home. I'm not saying that the homemade one is not reliable. I'm just saying that the one made in factory is more reliable than the one made at home. So now there are various types of solar energies. One of them is photovoltaic systems. So this is the most common way solar energy is used in today's life. So as known that solar panels or solar cells are placed on top of roofs of houses or towers, and when the solar energy, which is the sun's rays, hits the solar panel, the energy is taken to the inverter, and the inverter then provides electricity for the home. Another way, a not much used way, but is a thin film solar cell. This does the same job as the earlier one, but the only difference is it can be folded and taken anywhere you want. Another way solar energy is used today is solar water heating systems. So this is a way where solar energy is used for heating water. What happens in this method is when the rays of the sun hit the solar panels over here, it converts the solar energy into heat, and it's gone through a long tube. And when the cold water and hot water uh, come in touch with each other, the cold water turns into hot water, and hot water is provided while taking bath. Last but not the least, solar power plants. So what is a solar power plant? A solar power plant is a huge area or a land where solar cells are kept under the sun, which absorbs solar energy and provide electricity to the region or a city.
So, so there are different types
So
of
moving on to the
reflectors.
next topic. Yeah. So like Rachit said, there are different types of reflectors. There's spherical, parabolic, and flat. So flat is what Sahil was showing us a picture of, the one with aluminum foil, one which was made in the factory. Spherical is a circular shape, and parabolic, it reflects the sun energy to a single point in the solar cooker where the heat rises, produce the food. Next. So the best reflector to use in a solar cooker, if you're making it at home, is aluminium foil because it's low cost and it's available everywhere. Next.
So there are 4 different types of basic solar cookers. One is the box cooker, which my friend Sahil earlier showed in his images. Then we have panel solar cooker, which was the spherical solar, which contains spherical reflectors. Then we have a parabolic cooker, which is circular in shape. And then we have tube cookers, which is shaped as a tube or cylinder. Sahil, next slide, please.
So these are a few pictures of the making of a solar cooker using some materials with YouTube video. Okay. So as you can see, this is the solar cooker and the person is making the food with rice. He or she is putting water in it. And the person is going to put it inside the solar cooker. So as you can tell that this is a homemade flat reflector like we showed in our other pictures. So the person has used stands in the cardboard box so that it's stable and balanced. And the food's cooking. So you have to keep the food in the solar cooker for approximately 1 hour for it to get ready. So you can tell the change in the food. We can tell the rice is ready by now. The person is using gloves because it's always better to be safe while you're handling these things. And the food is ready, so you just have to leave it for 1 hour.
The food is cooked properly, as you can see. So the rice is soft and it has been cooked through till the middle of it. Now he will show the process of making.
So the person is using glue and thermocol. So like we spoke about aluminium foil being a simpler resource to use and it's readily available. So the person is sticking it.
He has used different parts of.
And this is according to the measurements. So the person's cutting the cardboard box according to the measurements showed in the photos. So now the person is going to stick a black sheet of paper at the bottom of the cardboard box because black absorbs heat and it's always better to use it. Want to take over from here?
Yeah, sure. So now he will keep the aluminium foil on the corners, as you can see, so that when the sun reflectors reflect the light into the solar cooker, they can transfer the heat straight to the bottom of the solar cooker, which is where the black paper lies. Now he's cutting it to stick the reflectors on top. As you can see, he's applying glue and he has kept a glass down so as a mirror so that the reflect. So, and now he's applying sticking the reflector. So now when the light comes uh, and it touches the mirror, it can be reflected on the to the mirror and or the glass now, and that will help it cook help in cooking the food. And he has spray painted it black, as you all know, because as my friend Rihanna told earlier, um, black absorbs the heat. And he's again showing the, because as many videos show cooking first, meaning the ending in the start itself, the same thing he or she has done, and he will keep it again inside, and then after that he will remove it, as we have seen earlier. So these side cardboard pieces are there for support, so that the reflectors don't fall and it doesn't break the glass. And now after 1 hour, the food will be cooked properly. As you all can see, he has removed the reflector and the mirror. You all have to be really careful with the solar cooker if you all do it on a flat surface or an unstable surface, because there are chances for the solar cooker to fall, because it's flat and it needs a flat surface. And as I told you all, the food is cooked. With even my friend Diana told that. So Sahil, to the PPT, please. Yeah, Sahil, all over to you. Sahil. Sahil, you are on mute.
So this is when we met at Rihanna's house to complete our presentation, as you can see, and to decide who's going to say which slide while presenting the presentation.
So as we were doing the project, we learned how to do. We learned self-management skills, which helped us in our paperwork, and we finished in a report format, which was neat and tidy. We set up few personal and group targets, which we achieved during the service, and then due to all these steps we took, we completed all our work on time. Now my friend Sahil will take over. Sahil, next slide.
Communication and social skills. So as you know, this is a group project, and many a times this happens that one person wants to do something, whereas the other wants to do something else. So many a times they have to take responsibility and take a decision about which one is better. We also communicated well with each other and used teamwork and effort to finish our project. Each person shared their opinion and did their own work, and together we could achieve this goal.
So at last we were very happy while providing them with the information of solar cooker, so that in future we can remember what we have given to a village, and we can remember that and help other underprivileged people ahead in future. At last we enjoyed this community project, and we were looking forward to help the village people again in future. Sahil, next slide.
So this is our bibliography. So we used all these sites for our research for the presentation and for making the people of Kasara. And it's also done in MLA form.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next group, which is about spreading awareness on health, hygiene, and education by Riya Gopinath, Mala Gandhi, and Youth Hingar.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Yuv Hingar, and these are my teammates Riya Gopinath and Malak Gandhi. During our MYP community project, we took guidance from Ms. Ketki, who was our supervisor. Today, we will be presenting our report for the MYP community project service we had throughout this year. For our community service project, our topic was spreading awareness about health, hygiene, and education. We researched about health and hygiene, education, and diseases. The research helped us find very crucial information which was important to spread awareness about these topics. To spread awareness, we made banners and posters, which makes it an indirect service. And the global context we chose was fairness and development. So now let's dive into the presentation.
Needs, requirements, and background. So after conducting a survey in the village, we found out the following things. We found out that people weren't aware of the basic measures of health, hygiene, and hygiene. And there was a very less supply of medicines and doctors and teachers. And people weren't aware of the preventive measures. Aims. So our aims were to have a proper research about these topics, investigate problems of bad health and hygiene, and find appropriate answers, produce a proper kit with proper knowledge of diseases, effective communication to the people who are using this kit, and properly teach the people about education and how important it is.
As Riya mentioned in the slide earlier, that there was a survey conducted. On the left, you can see there are a few questions which were in the survey, and on the right, there are some evidences as photos which shows that some students are asking the villagers.
Needs and requirements. Health and education is very important for career and growth, and the villagers did maintain basic hygiene and sanitation, due to which it led to common diseases, and there was lack of resources for education, and then we gave them better health and education resources.
So our global context for this this project was fairness and development, as he wanted to create an awareness about some harmful diseases and the ill effects of health and hygiene, of bad health and hygiene.
So 23rd July to 8th August 2019, from 23rd July to 8th August 2019, we did investigation. Then 9th to 31st, we did planning. 3rd to 27th, plan for phase 1 action plan. Of 3rd to 23rd October, taking action for phase 1. 4th November to 21st December 2019, plan for phase 2 action plan. There are 8 to 31st January 2020, we took action for phase 2. 3rd to 28th February, we did reflection, and 2nd May. And today we are presenting.
So why did we choose education? We chose education because when we visited Kasara, we saw that the school had only one room, and we also came to know that the school in the village had school only to grade 5, and this meant that children above the age of 10 had to start working in the village. So in the photos, we can see that people were talking about the various aspects of education and why it was important. Why did we choose health and hygiene? So again, when we went to the village, we found out that the standards of hygiene were not good and there was dirt everywhere. We also saw that the water was contaminated and that would lead to a lot of mosquito-borne diseases. and people were not aware. And like I said, because of the survey, we found out that people were not aware of the health standards and proper hygiene.
So as the hygiene standards were not up to the mark, so there was a high chance of getting sick. And due to a lot of contaminated water present, there were a lot of mosquitoes too, which could cause diseases like malaria or dengue. Hence, we researched about some common diseases which could occur there, and we came out with a solution to give the information about jaundice, dengue, malaria, typhoid, and cold and flu. How did we address this need? So we taught them about basic health, hygiene, and education. We provided some worksheets which had alphabets, simple 2 to 3 letter words. We also did a skit to spread awareness about basic diseases. We gave the village a TV and a speaker with a microphone for next level education. And the whole kit, all the information in the kit are very sustainable because the kit has information about the disease and the home remedies.
So these are, as you can see, these are our banners which we made for the people over there, because it would be easier for them to understand. And also they are in it's written in Hindi because they can't understand English, and Hindi is their language. So on the blue banner it says Swachhta bahut mahatvapurn hai, that means hygiene is very important. And in the white one it says Swachhta hamesha, that means hygiene always.
So these 4 are the posters made for diseases. As you can see, all the posters are written in Hindi because Hindi is the language which they understand. And each poster has a few lines written about the disease and prevention, symptoms, and cure. As you can see in the 3rd poster, the dengue poster, it's written, I'll just read one sentence in Hindi. It's written, dengue बुखार बहुत दर्दनाक और जानलेवा हो सकता है, हालांकि ये बीमारी डेंगू वायरस के कारण होती है.
These are our education posters which we made for them. It says शिक्षा महत्वपूर्ण है, that means education is important. And it says हमें समझदार व्यासक होने के लिए सीखने की जरूरत है, that means to become smart we need to be educated and we need to learn. And these are our health posters which we made for them again. It says स्वास्थ्य महत्वपूर्ण है, that means health is important. And the other one says खुश रहो, सुखी रहो, and स्वास्थ्य रहो, that means stay safe, stay happy, and then stay healthy.
Now these are some clippings when I had to, because Dr. Tejal Shah had donated a medical kit to the villagers there. So I sent her a mail and asked her which medicines she had given. So in the right, you can see her response. The syrups were deoxyrange, Apilac, Zincovet. She also gave some multivitamins and iron tablets. So after a checkup in the school, she made a list of medicines and then she donated the medical kit.
So these are some of the worksheets we gave to the children. Then these 2 children talk about health and hygiene, and there's a post. This is a poster of hygiene that we made. Then these are again some English worksheets. Then this is another poster of hygiene, and these are 2 children talking to a man about health and hygiene.
Here are some more pictures when the survey was conducted. As you can see, everyone's asking the villagers there about the questions in the survey.
Reflection. So as a part of our project, we chose the topic of health, hygiene, and education. We chose this topic because when we went to the village, when we visited the village in October, we found out that hygiene and health standards were not up to the mark, and people and education wasn't very good over there. So the ATL skills that we learned from this project were research skills, communication skills, and time management skills. So communication skills because we learned to communicate with them in their language, and research skills because because of the research we were able to provide them with the information.
My takeaway from this project was how bad health and hygiene can affect your body, and how you have to maintain good hygiene, not only for you but also for the people who are living with you. These are some sources we referred from in order to get the product we have. Thank you. Now let's move on to the third participant, which is Tejas Chakrabarti, and he has the Bookworms Library.
So a very good day to all of you. My name is Tejas Chakrabarti, and today I'm going to present to you my community service project, my Bookworms Library. The global context for this project is personal and cultural expression, because it is my firm belief that literature is the best way to express your ideas, beliefs, and thoughts. So what is happening exactly in society today? It is not a very well-known problem, but the idea of reading is becoming less popular day by day. In fact, children in most environments do not appreciate this hobby because they consider it to be very tedious and very mundane. So a few months back, I was interacting with certain younger children in my society, and I overheard them talking about how they found reading to be quite mundane and pretty much like a chore. This is something that really surprised me because I was someone who always liked reading. Further, I had seen most of my classmates who were roughly my age to also enjoy this hobby. So I was really startled to see the younger children finding it to be quite boring. So therefore, I took it upon myself to develop a product in order to incentivize the way to read for them. And therefore, the idea of my home-based library was born. Here are the steps that were leading up to the library. The first phase was the researching phase, in which I would do research in order to develop the idea behind the library. Then came the planning, which would lay down the foundation for the library. The third step was the process, which would include me garnering customers for my library. And finally, it was the launch, which was presenting the final product to the market. So the first phase was the research phase. I did two types of research: primary research and secondary research. Primary research is basically when you go door to door to people, interview them, and ask them about certain things. Secondary research is when you already use an established source and you use it to fact check all the data that you've gathered from your primary sources. I did both of these research in order to lay a solid foundation for my library. In the primary research phase, I went door to door in my colony to find out about whether people actually like to read. What I found out was actually quite surprising. Not only was it that younger children, but people in the adult ages also did not like to read. It was due to multiple different kinds of reasons. Some people just found it to be a redundant activity, and others just did not have time for it. So I decided to go ahead and do some secondary research to back this data. And what I found out was that roughly 87% of children in urban areas considered reading to be a chore, which lined up perfectly with the primary data that I had collected. Then came the second phase of primary research. In this phase, I needed to interact with the community in order to understand basically what their needs were and what the parents thought that the children should do. So after doing exactly that, I had a meeting with my mentor, Miss Ansu, in order to present to her the data that I had collected through my few rounds of research and discuss various other topics, such as advertisement methods, creation of social media links in order to popularize the movement, and conducting further first-hand research in order to know exactly what kinds of books people would like to read so that they could enjoy the process of reading a bit more. So in this third phase of primary research, I actually went door to door and I asked people about what kinds of books, movies did they like to read and watch in order to understand exactly what their interests were. I looked at the different kinds of age groups and how that affected the interest of people. For example, younger audiences preferred books of the fantasy and non-fiction genre, whereas slightly older people appreciated books of the science fiction genre. And this therefore allowed me to develop a pretty solid foundation for my library. The next step was garnering customers. So this phase was one of the most important phases of my library, as I had to actually get a solid customer base. I did this through various international events which took place at my library in order to show people that reading literature can actually be very fun. So here are certain photos of one such event that happened at my library. As you can see over here, many kids have gathered. We are actually interacting with each other and we are doing a group reading. We're reading various kinds of books from multiple genres such as fantasy, science fiction, and even certain thriller books. The next phase was the most crucial phase, as this was the final launch of the product. So I had to propose my membership structure to the audience. And this is wherein the community service aspect of all of this actually came in. So the membership structure of my library worked this way. The members would pay a security deposit of an X amount to the library. And in return, the library would give them roughly 20 books to read every single month. In order to renew their membership, all they needed to do was just sign a form. No more cash, that's all. And in fact, the security deposit would be returned back to them after their memberships expired. This was done in order to, the security deposit was taken in order to ensure the safety of the products rather than making a profit. So after the launch of the product, I did start seeing visual impact in my society. I could overhear conversations of people talking about books, movies, and literature, discussing it much more frequently, and in fact, finding fun in doing so. I was able to hear from certain other people that their children had actually taken up the practice of reading more often, and many of them actually read on a regular basis and tried to read different kinds of books which could challenge them personally as well. Further, in order to show you the actual impact, here are certain testimonials that I gathered from some of the members of the library. So here they are. So both of these people were members of my library. They both state that they explored new genres, new styles of literature that they didn't before because of the wide variety that they were presented with. It also allowed them to take up a new hobby, which made them much more productive in life. They also agreed with me when I said that the change in the society was very imminent, because they also saw multiple younger children reading and discussing literature. All in all, to state that the impact of the library was quite successful. So finally, my take on the entire process. I believe that this process was very insightful for me because it allowed me to get to know my society much better and my community. It allowed me to get to know of a problem which is not very popular or very well known, but is still affecting a very large audience. I was able to understand what they were, what their exact needs were, and therefore cater to them, and really developed values and respect through the process, which I really believe is the entire idea behind community service. It allows you to serve your community and get to know them better through the idea of helping and making society a better place. So these are a few of my sources that I use for the secondary research phase. And thank you for your time.
Okay, so moving on to the last and final group that helped the visually impaired by Araya Ladak, Ashna Jain, and Yuvraj Guliani.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Araya Ladak, and today my team and I are going to be presenting our project of when we donated audio folktales for the students at the National Association of the Blind.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yuvraj Guliani, and today we're going to be presenting about how we educated the people at the NAB. The need. Visually challenged students did not have a variety of Indian folktales. Hence, we decided to give them a variety of Indian folktales audiobooks to listen to. After intense brainstorming, we came to the decision to use technology to the advantage of the visually challenged students. We also thought it would be interesting to record many audios so they would have many different stories to listen and enjoy.
So our class visited the National Association of the Blind, and we realized that visually challenged people are not included in conversations. We assume that they are helpless. We do not communicate clearly with them, and we tend to avoid speaking to them directly. We do not raise their awareness about upcoming or new technologies, and we do not lend a hand where it's appropriate.
Goal. Inquiry question. How effectively can the visually challenged students of our society be supported in their learning efforts? Goal. To help the visually challenged students of the National Association for the Blind, Mumbai by audio recording folktales in English language to enhance their learning outcomes.
So the topic for this project was audio recording of folktales for the visually challenged students of the NAB in Mumbai. The service type was direct service. Our global context was fairness and development, and the vision was that we would learn the value of giving back to the society and to support and help citizens who are differently abled and thereby enhance the quality of life for themselves and for society at large.
Goal. The most important part of this project was donating the CDs to the visually impaired students. A variety of folktales were introduced to the students instead of Western fairy tales, which are very common in any ways.
Prior experience. This was a new experience for the both of us, but we are both aware of audiobooks, but we weren't aware of how people recorded them. The lessons that helped us with this project were IT design lessons, as they helped us with recording the audios and transferring the audio to the CDs. We researched and read through different folktales, and we found a few folktales that were of 3 to 5 minutes. English and speech and drama lessons also helped us with this when we were recording the audios, as we found clarity in our speech and diction.
Research summary. We developed our research skills by searching for folktales online, browsing through various websites, reading the folktales, selecting the folktales that were different and short folktales that can be recorded within 5 minutes, checked for the reliability on the website. As a result, we found out that there were a large variety of folktales to choose from, and we had to do a lot of research to find the perfect folktales which we thought that they would like and enjoy and find suitable to their liking.
The proposals for action. This project was focused on helping the blind read through audiobooks, and it was about the betterment of the blind community through literature. We chose this project because we were shown the library at the NAB filled with books in Braille and audiobooks, and we realized there was not much of variety for them in terms of Indian folktales. So to help them in expanding their knowledge of traditional Indian literature, we selected a few Indian folktales that we thought would be suitable to their liking.
Plan. Reviewed all the sources of the storage for data. Decided on the CDs as our preferred store of online data. Bought CDs. Started recording folktales on mobile phones. Then we transferred the audio recording to the laptop. We burned the CDs on the laptop. Then we donated the CDs to the NAB. And all of this was supervised by Ms. Farida Baringwala.
So our approaches to learning and our ATL skill development. During the process of this project, We developed a lot of our skills, such as our research skills, when we were looking for the correct folktales. We had to proofread all of them so we could make sure that they would enjoy the stories.
Self-management skills. We developed self-management skills when we recorded the audios with the time frame in the mind. Recording needed clarity of voice. Takes and retakes helped us realize the value of hard work. Worked over what went wrong. Avoided eating cold foods that could impact our recording. Transferring the audio to the CDs. Donating the CDs to NAB gave a sense of achievement and fulfillment.
This is the evidence of research for when we were researching the folktales. This is the evidence of us recording the CDs.
This is the evidence of us speaking to Miss Pradnya Upadhyay at the NAB. She was the director and head of DEP.
Wait.
Miss, I don't think the audio is working.
I think you will have to play it. You'll have to play it.
Yeah. Miss, it won't work through screen sharing. I'll try playing it from here.
Should I play from my?
Play it from your laptop, Araya.
Wait, I'll play around.
Okay. One second.
How the camel got its hump. A long time ago, God made the world. The camel did not have a hump. It used to be a very lazy camel, all day long chewed sticks and thorns, and milkweed and thistles. The other animals wondered how to make the camel like them. One day, the horse said, "Oh camel, what a wonderful day. Why don't you come out for a stroll with me?" The camel just said, "Humph," and walked away. Later, the ox went to the camel and asked him to help him carry his load. "Humph," said the camel. When the dog asked the camel to share his duty of guarding their kingdom, he just turned his face away. The angry animals decided to teach the camel a lesson. They went to the jinn of the desert and asked him to help them. The next day, the ox asked the camel, "What is that on your back?" When the camel looked, he realized in shock that his back had grown into a hump. "Oh, my back," he wailed. "That's your punishment for being lazy," said the king. Ever since, the camel has a hump.
A little hand lived at the edge of a forest colony. She lived by herself and did all her work on the road. Early in the morning, she hunted around for worms in the forest. In day, she cleaned up the house. Then she cooked and ate and spent rest of the time in peace and short. Her life was happy. Close by lived a middle-aged fox, this old mother. And as you can imagine, if the fox was little, elderly, Mother Fox was skydiving the ancient. The fox's mother had been gone for a while, and he was lazy to go hunting, so he was thinking, what should he eat? And then he suddenly remembered. Now the neighborhood moved in with the fox and the hen left. Most of the animals had made a road that her back was turned, so did not see him. He hid behind the door. As soon as the hen came in, but now part of the pot splashing straight to the body of the fox and the wanted killing.
This is the evidence of recording and saving the folktales.
And then this is the evidence of talking to Miss Pradnya Upadhyay at the National Association of the Blind. She's the director and the deputy head.
So this is the evidence of us donating the CDs to the NAB. So Ashna made a CD cover, so she's going to speak a little about it.
This is a design done for the CD cover. I was inspired to design to show interlink between the leaves and the petals, just like the interlink between the POTAR students and the NAB students through the Commuity Project. Thank you.
Critical thinking skills. We demonstrated critical thinking when we decided which folktales to use from a variety. Some folktales were too lengthy and the NAB students would lose interest. So we chose the shorter folktales as they were quicker to record and be more entertaining for the students.
Communication and social skills. Collaborating with our team members and our supervisor was done online by sharing Google Docs. It was helpful as connecting with each other was easier and each team member could complete their part at their own convenient time. Communication skills were also improved a lot when we were recording the folktales, as our speech and voices had to be clear and understandable. Our social skills were also developed when we spoke to the people at the NAB and also when we went to donate the CD.
Evaluation. We did much better than we thought we would because we worked diligently to complete recording of the CDs and to donate them to the NAB for the children to use. We made a good impact as we helped the visually impaired students and gave them different folktales so they would have a large variety and enjoy listening to them. We should have managed our time better and finished our research work earlier.
Service learning. My team believes that this was a worthy project and the idea we came up with about helping the blind was beneficial to the students. For the criteria, we did our research and planning on the basis of the criteria and what we were expected to do in that criteria. And we also had to fulfill what the criteria expected us to do for our projects. We searched for different Indian folktales because we saw that the blind school did not have this kind of stories and we wanted to give them a good variety so they could pick from all the different stories depending on their preference of stories. We then continued to record all the different folktales on the CDs and then we donated them to the blind school.
Conclusion. The project was an enriching experience while recording the audios, transferring them to the CDs and donating them to the NAB. It also took a lot of time to hunt for the correct folktales. We wanted to give them a variety of folktales because they did not have any Indian folktales at their school. So we thought it would be a good idea to give them these folktales. We then had to go to the NAB and then we donated the CDs to them.
Yeah. This is the bibliography. Some websites we took the folktales from. So, our take on this was that this was a very enriching experience for both of us and we learned a lot from it. And the process was very long, but it was all worth it in the end because we got to help the visually impaired students.
Okay. So that's it for all the presentations. Does anyone have any question regarding any of the presentations?
Audience, you
Any
can ask
questions?
questions. You can unmute and ask a question. Well, there seem to be no questions.
No
Any
questions.
questions?
Ma'am, I do have one question.
Yes, yes,
I'm you.
please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you intend to continue this activity through future, like in the 9th and the 10th grade, or the other class or the
In the
junior class
future,
take
it
over
will
now?
not be the community project, but they will have what's called the IAYP. All right, Mr. Kaiser, would you like to say something about that?
Yeah. Basically, they will have service continued. They had service as action other than the community project. So service as action would continue. Okay. So these are, of course, they did projects of this kind, which are service oriented. They would have service which will be incorporated in the international, that is the ISA program, which we'll let you know about when they are in 9 and 10 in the coming, when we have our, what you call,
Orientation.
orientation. Yes. So they have, it is IAYP, it's called International Award for Young People. So that would give them, it used to be called earlier the Duke of Edinburgh scheme. So within that platform, they will have service, they will have all the elements of holistic learning out there. Okay. Yes. Can you tell us why you asked this question?
I asked because I found that this is a very, very enriching and a motivating activity, which is, and we are lucky that they have it in school at such young age. I'm sure it motivates them for the rest of their lives, that they have to continue giving back to the society. So I was wondering that this is not it, and they would continue doing this.
Yes, they will continue this under CAS and IAYP.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you so much.
I have a question. It's to the NAB group. What do you think about the sustainability of the CDs? As the population using CDs are very less, and to gain access also from the CDs is very difficult. You need a particular software to read the CDs. So what do you think about that?
That's where IT design helped us, because we took help from Miss Madhuri a little bit when we were burning the CDs to find the correct software. And since they had a CD player for their audiobooks, we thought that the easiest software or like thing to use for them would be CDs.
Okay.
Yes, not only that, these CDs can be downloaded, everything can be downloaded and used.
Miss Farida, you need to unmute.
Yeah, and they can take a lot of storage as well. So we thought they would be the best.
Yeah, that's terrific. All right.
Any other questions? I think you. I think you and Rihanna can. Mr. Kaiser, you'd like to say something? Then they will wind up.
Yeah, I think they don't seem to have any questions.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me just conclude it. Thank you all, grade 8, for putting up a wonderful project, community project work. You all have worked very hard in spite of the difficult times. I think to have taken out time in this manner and have done it, it's commendable, very commendable. All of you, I think, have taken a journey into being individuals who can showcase their various skills and lead up to servant leadership, which I think is a very good good initiative. Keep it up, and we'll be continuing this, your community project, and which initiative which you have taken there would in different ways magnify itself in 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right? Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Rihanna.
And thank you,
You
teachers.
Rihanna.
Thank you, Masha, for having put it all together.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to just say thank you to Miss Madhuri, Miss Farida, Miss Sansu, and Miss Ketki for giving of their time to get the children ready for this project. So well done to all of you. Can you please clap for them? I don't know how we'll clap, but we can clap, I think. Okay. All right. Yes.
Somebody showed you how to clap.
Yes.
All right. I think that's
You and Rihanna
very
just
good.
wind up. Just wind up. Close this, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for attending this meeting and of your day service projects.
Yes, as Kaiser sir said, it is the lockdown period that limited our discussion, but successfully the groups were still able to create the final MYP community presentation. So from this we learned that anything is possible and any obstacle surmountable by PODAR students. Signing off from here with my fellow students and us. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a nice lunch.
Very well done, everyone.
Thank you, miss.
Yes.
Thank you,
Bye.
miss.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, all parents.
So it's a big relief now
Thank
for
you,
the
teachers.
supervisors. And thank you, Miss Tamara, for the lovely design, for doing all those designs. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss, can we leave the meeting?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. Please leave.
I'm sure you're feeling hungry. Leave. Okay.
Are we also, all the teachers are also leaving?
Let's just have a quick, a little bit of a summary of
Yeah.
how it went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let
sure.
Sahil leave. Sahil, goodbye.
Sahil, leave. Sahil.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left.
left. I think Miss Farida needs to be
Farida
here.
also
Farida,
left.
can you call her back, please?
Yeah. Virat phone.
Okay. Yeah, Farida, we're just having a quick little summary, like a little postmortem of how well it went and if anything can be improved.
Postmortem.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Yes. Thank you. It's always called a postmortem after an event. Actually, when it's fresh, in everyone's minds, it's good to see what the good things are and how we can improve. Okay, because that's how we can improve ourselves in future. Otherwise, later we'll forget. So if you can, if somebody can just, anyway, it's getting recorded. Let me stop the recording. Goodbye.